Okay, and I'm back. I'm just gathering the pans that I need. I had to wash them because they got, where they sit, they get a little bit dusty if they're not used, and they haven't been used in a little bit of a while. You might be asking what pans, or what pans I use. Well, I use the gold pans by Williams-Sonoma, and they're great. They're a little bit heavy. You can use them for a multitude of things. I use them when I make meatloaves, breads, obviously. Sometimes if I'm making an appetizer dish, I can use the pans. I'm trying to think what else I use them for. Those are probably the primary things I use them for. And the Williams-Sonoma gold pans are phenomenal to use. I've had very, very good results with them. Now, I will tell you the gold series of Williams-Sonoma is a little bit more expensive than a regular set you could buy at your local Target or Walmart or one of those stores. But for me, I always have said, probably in the very beginning videos, you know, get what you can safely afford to spend, but if you can afford to spend a little bit more money on your cooking, where it will last you a lifetime. If you take, very good care of it, you'll have great results with it. And I'm very partial to the Gold Series pans. Now, like I said, I'm going to do this banana bread, but I'm going to do it with a twist. I'm also going to add some cranberries to it. So it's going to be a cranberry banana bread. And you might not have thought about putting in different fruits with banana bread, because banana bread is basically just bananas. Well, it doesn't have to be. You can actually doctor up banana bread. You can put chocolate chips in it and make it a chocolate chip banana bread. You can actually use other fruits in with your banana bread. Like you could do a banana blueberry bread. You could do a banana apple bread. You could do an apple pear or banana pear bread. You could do a banana cranberry bread. It's basically endless possibilities that you can do. And I'm going to move the bread making machine. For those of you who are new, videos that have been posted earlier this month utilize the bread making machine. And I've done a whole series of the bread making machine. And we're going to do one more bread, but that won't be until sometime probably towards the holidays. And speaking of the holidays, before I get into these recipes, next week, I thought long and hard about when I wanted to talk about the holidays. I know Halloween is coming up. That's still a little more than a week away. But I think next week is going to be a good time to have a little bit of a chat with you all on when you guys want to start thinking of buying your stuff if you're going to cook for the holidays, like your Thanksgiving meal. When do you want to buy your turkey? When do you want to start thinking about things that you might need for a holiday meal or a Friendsgiving? We're going to do that next week, so stay tuned. That's going to be a special video, and it's probably, I'm thinking I may do it next Friday. Oh, no, I can't do it next Friday. I have a doctor's appointment next Friday. Might be done next Thursday. I may film it Thursday evening after I get done volunteering. But we'll see on that. So you don't want to miss that if you guys are always last-minute planners, and this year maybe have said, you know, I don't want to do that. I need to get a list going of when to buy stuff. Well, I'm going to help you with that and tell you exactly when you need to start going to the store and getting the ingredients and stuff that you need to make your fabulous holiday meals. So, what I need to do is I'm going to grab a bowl and we're going to get started with this recipe. Now, I know in the past, you guys used to be able to see the whole kitchen. This is kind of tight. I'm going to flip you guys a little bit so now you guys can see me a little bit more in the kitchen. And I'm just going to go over here and grab my bowls. don't think we need the great big bowl. I think we're going to be able to get away with the smaller bowl today because there's not a lot of stuff that we really need to do with this recipe. And I'll be right back. I'm going to put my bowls back. Now, if you've ever wondered where I've gotten these bowls, I know there's a video on it. I'll just give a quick backstory. These are ceramic bowls that my husband bought me for Christmas several years ago. They're Williams-Sonoma. They are incredibly heavy. And unfortunately, Williams-Sonoma no longer makes these. These were discontinued about 3 years ago. But I do have another set, just in case I break a bowl, that I have another set that I can grab from. And my husband was nice enough to allow me to do that. So we got the bowl. Now it wants to cream together the shortening sugar, egg, and eggs, and we want to beat it well. So we're going to do that first. And since I don't like my husband's handheld mixer, I'm going to go grab my other. And I'm going to take you guys along. I apologize. Like I said, I'm still waiting for the new furniture. So, of course, my living room still has the dining room set in it. And that actually is going to go out next week. Because now I am closing in on a delivery date. And hopefully, where I bought the furniture from does not give me a new date. I'm hoping that they will hold true and it will be delivered on Halloween now. That's what the plan is. But we'll see how true that is. That's always subject to change, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully they don't change it again. So I got a handheld mixer, and this is the very, very loved mixer. For those of you that don't know the backstory of my mixers, this happened to be my grandmother's mixer. It's been around for a very long time. It's been around for probably at least 48 years. It may even be older than that because I remember this mixer, and it's a Sunbeam corded mixer. It's the Sunbeam's ejector mixer, and they stopped making these a very, very long time ago. Now Sunbeam, unfortunately, once the 70s and the 80s and into the 90s came along, Sunbeam decided, I don't know if it was to save money or because things were more expensive to make in the United States, Sunbeam contracted everything that they made over to China, and it is the cheapest plastic that they could put in. This is not. This is very heavy duty. I have not had a lick of trouble in all the years that it's been around. And my grandmother, I know she used it for smaller things. Of course, my grandmother used her KitchenAid stand mixer. And of course, I used my stand mixer for the bigger things. But since this is a small banana bread recipe, you can get away with a handheld. You do not need to get your KitchenAid mixers. Now, if you don't have a handheld and you only have the stand mixer, go ahead and use the stand mixer. You can definitely use that. So, we're going to do 1/3 cup of shortening. And you can buy, this is Crisco shortening. And this is what they call the stick version. Now, the stick version of shortening came out probably maybe in the late 80s, early 90s. Crisco always had it in the tub form, and you always had to put it in a measuring cup. Well, now you don't need to do that. Except you don't need to throw it on the floor like I just did. It kind of got away from me. And if you guys remember how I said, perfect kitchen, well, this is what home cooks sometimes do, is they make a mess and throw things all over you. Very rarely you'll see Martha Stewart ever doing that. But I leave all those flaws in. So I hope everybody's having a great weekend or a great week. It's Friday, so I know a lot of you guys are all excited about having the weekend off. And I know we're closing in on Halloween, and it's kind of scary of how fast Halloween actually came in. It's like going, oh my God. I unfortunately this year am not really, because I have furniture being delivered, I am not really doing the trick-or-treating thing with the kids this year. Plus, I don't know if you guys have started shopping for your Halloween candy supplies for the kids, but candy has gotten insanely expensive. And I feel bad for the little ones, because usually around Halloween I get the little ones, the animal crackers in the boxes. And I'm talking about the infants that are 5 months to maybe 2 years old. I'll get them their own little individual animal crackers, because they like that. And then of course the older kids are very picky on what candies they have, but this year, I looked at the price of candy and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's so expensive. And it's enough to try to feed us. So, let's get back to the recipe. So, I put 1/3 cup of shortening in here. Now we need 1.5 cups of sugar. And it says cream together shortening and sugar, so we need 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm going to flip you guys around to the hutch. Eventually, I have a feeling Apple will come out with a series phone where you can press the button and it'll automatically flip for you. Unfortunately, they don't have that yet, but you know, they're probably working on that. So I'm going to flip you guys back around. You know the drill. So I have my cups. And we need just 1/2 cup of sugar. So I'm going to get my 1/2 cup. And you always want to look, especially if you have things that have been sitting for a long time that have been unused. Like this, I noticed a little flaw. I'm going to just give it a quick wash. And that happens sometimes. I don't use my measuring cup a lot I mean, I use them quite a bit, but I don't use them daily. So sometimes they get dusty or they get what I call almost stale if they've been sitting for a long time. And the older ones that have been with me since day one know about the kitchen stand mixer, of how I used to keep all of these in the stand mixer. So they've all gotten used pretty much there. But this time I decided I'm not going to cram my bowl because I've already broken one bowl, and this bowl that is currently sitting on my stand mixer is chipped. So I told my husband, I said, you know, after all the kitchen furniture comes in, I'm going to order another glass bowl, because my mixer happens to be the one that utilizes the glass bowl and not the metal bowl, although I do have a metal bowl for it. So now that the sugar is out of the way, we're going to cream this. And to cream something, it just basically means you want to mix it until both ingredients are well incorporated. That's what creaming means if you're new to the terminology. And I'm going to show you that the shortening and the sugar are in the bowl, and you just want to cream those. So also, a lot of people have problems when it comes to what setting of your mixer should you do cream on. Well, always go with the low setting. You can always bump it up to medium. But unless your recipe says beat or whip stuff, you don't need to go into the beat or mix setting. So I'm just going to do it on medium, and I'm just going to cream this. And you basically just want to keep doing this until you get a creamy mixture. And it does sometimes with shortening, it does take time. And just be a little bit patient with it, because eventually it will cream for you. And we're starting to get there. I would say that's pretty creamed. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So I'm going to tip you guys over. That's pretty much what the creaming looks like. Now I'm going to stop the video for a quick second. I'll pick it right back up. And of course I'm back. Just like magic. So it says add eggs and beat well. Now you're going to beat. So if your mixer has a beat setting, now you're going to go up to the beat, and we need 2 eggs. So let me turn you guys a little bit so you're facing the refrigerator. And I think, of course, my husband decided to take the eggs downstairs because I do not see any eggs in my refrigerator.
I didn't take them down. I took them downstairs because we didn't need all of them up there.
So you must have taken all of them because I don't have
one. If you still had eggs up there.
I don't have any eggs up there. So I'll be right back. I apologize. My wonderful husband just handed me the eggs. Now you might be asking yourself, does size matter with eggs? Yes and no. It all depends on the recipe. If a recipe specifies extra large eggs, then yes, it is going to matter. If a recipe is generic and it says 2 eggs, you can use pretty much any size eggs. Although if you use the smaller eggs, you may want to double those. So this recipe says 2 eggs. I'm going to use 2 large eggs. And it says we're going to beat well. We're going to add eggs and beat well. So that's egg number 1. For right now, I'm just going to put the shells in. Oop. And actually, I got a little bit of shell in my mixture, which we do not want. And there we go. Okay. 2, and I'm going to move you guys for a quick second so I'm not dropping eggs on the floor. I'm going to rinse my hands really quick. I'll be right back. You guys are so used to this. My old viewers know the drill. When I say certain things, they automatically know what's coming up. And for those of you that might be thinking about, oh my God, I've got holiday stuff to do. Well, this is actually, you can actually start baking for the holidays and start freezing stuff. Like I said, banana bread freezes very, very well. And we're just going to beat this well. Grab my spatula and I'm just going to clean off the side. show you guys what it looks like, or what it should look like. It should just look like that. It should look nice and yellow. You don't want to overbeat your eggs, because if you overbeat your eggs, what happens is they get very tall and they get very, very stiff. So you want to make sure that you don't overbeat your eggs. Now, the rest of the recipe calls for 1 3/4 cups of sifted all-purpose flour. And you're going to sift together your dry ingredients. And then you're going to add it to this, and you're going to alternating with the bananas. So we're going to do that. And it also wants you to grease your pans very well. And I will get to that in a second. At this point, turn your oven on, and I'm glad I looked. I have bread cubes that are drying for the holidays in my oven that I don't have a place to put right now. And some of these might need to go just a little bit longer. This is the sourdough stuffing recipe that I'm going to actually try this year. I've never done my stuffing with sourdough, but it sounds good, and we're going to see how that goes. So at this point, you're going to preheat your oven to 350. So I suggest at this point, turn your oven on and let it preheat. Now, you might be wondering, do you need to sift ingredients? Well, if a recipe calls for sifted ingredients, then yes, you should go ahead and sift your ingredients. A lot of the newer recipes that I'm finding in the cookbooks that are more recent, do you need to sift? No, you really don't, because a lot of times nowadays the flour is very, very well sifted. But if a recipe does say sift, you should sift all of your ingredients. And sifters are not expensive. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go grab mine. I'll be right back. I'll show you what a flour sifter is, and we'll talk about that.